107.3 The Eagle.
Is this Ethan?
Yes, it is.
Ethan, it's Bret Michaels, my friend. How are you doing?
Bret, I'm doing fantastic, brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome, and excited for the show, that's for sure.
Well, we are definitely excited for you to hit town and bring the party around. I know that you are always in a pretty good mood, but you got to be feeling extra spicy good right now with your Steelers on a hot streak, brother.
I'm feeling spicy good. I'm feeling it's the holiday season, right? It's a mixture of great action movies, good sports, a little Hallmark thrown in, right?
Right.
And the good holidays, the big show coming with you this Saturday night, and the Steelers having a good season. And I told them, right? So I'm friends with Mike Tomlin, with the coach and the players. And I said, when you bring me into spring training and I throw the football, I'm not going to curse this. I got to be careful. But you got to watch the image. We sometimes, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm saying. We have some good karma out there.
All right.
And then we go to Dino's afterwards. It's a little bar up there in Latrobe, PA, and all of us go in there and tear it down. And then they take the next day off from their training camp.
Well, I tell you what, if at any point it ends up in the playoffs or possibly even, the big game there that it's Steelers versus Bucks, we got to hang out, get it together, and we can just battle each other out over who's going to win that one.
Bucks look good, and Baker, I'm just telling you, I got an eye on. Trust me, I always keep an eye. You know what I mean? But the Bucks look good, and the Bolts, come on. You know what I'm saying? Steve and all of our friends, I'm just throwing a few things out there, but Florida's got good sports.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good this year. And speaking of feeling good, you've had to carefully manage your health since you were a kid. So I've always wondered, how in the hell did you balance the 80s party lifestyle of being one of the biggest bands in the world with just basically keeping yourself alive?
So that is a great question. Let me bring that all the way relevantly forward. Every night I try to throw a great party for fans that are coming backstage. If they're coming back, I like being a good host, right? And I think, again, what's happened with me being a diabetic my whole life, and I've been through some, I'm just going to say some rough goes with the brain hemorrhage. That thing almost did me in. Grace of God and good medical, I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
And and the diabetes, the 5 to 6 injections a day covering the meals. And it's a balance. I'm not going to lie to anybody, but I never let it get me down. I use it to motivate me. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm one of those guys, the more they throw at me, I'm more motivated. I always had that quote, you can give up, you can give in, or you can give it all you got. And sometimes when life takes a couple shots at you, or critics or anybody, it just motivates me even more. So, but that balance of 80s, 90s, and now, right, is, to this day, I still like to have a great time. But I think the diabetes has been a blessing for me, because I know I get too close to that edge, I may not be able to come back. So just knowing that, I think has kept me healthy, and being a father, I want to be around as long as possible and enjoy my family and the music.
And you've obviously, there's a few times taken it to the edge, but now I guess you've got those built-in guardrails, so you can just go out. I can have this much fun and enjoy it, but then at that point, I've got to take care of it.
That's it. And I know, and I can feel it. Trust me. My thing is, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but most people go, the nights you say, I'm just going to go out, maybe have a beer. Those are the ones when it gets crazy, right?
Yeah, those are ends up 3 days later.
Yes. And hold my beer and watch this happen. You know what I mean? And so I just find that in my life where, those, like you said, those guardrails, I know when I'm there. And luckily, besides just my family, I've surrounded myself with really good people in my life that I have their back, they have my back, and they know. They're like, come on, you're having a really good time. And then you know how that feels when you're having a good time. No one wants to stop. You're
right.
Like, I feel great. You know what I'm saying? And then you find that area. But music, I'm going to segue. music, getting on that stage with the fans, and I call it family. 3 generations of family out there now, rocking with us, having a great time singing. I get to have Dee Snider join me on stage, Night Ranger. That's a pretty good high right there.
Yeah, no, playing on stage in front of an audience is the best high ever, and people who haven't done it don't understand. Drugs just can't compare to that feeling of, and I've only played in a cover band in front of like 50, 100 people, but even that feeling was like, oh, that's better than anything except sex.
Well, we're going to put that up there. We'll put that one above, and then we'll drop to the band on stage together, rocking. Right?
Exactly.
Go sex number 1. We're gonna go through our top 5, right? And then band. But here's a true thing. I'm throwing this out to you for real. If you're able to make the show, and we're going to have a great time, beautiful weather. I'm watching all of this, right? But if you're able to make the show and you want to come out with us on stage, we do this at the end of the night with Dee Snider and Night Ranger, and you want to come up and jam with us in whatever capacity that could be, come up there and just have a great time with us. It's what we do, and we never leave anyone hanging. There's no one ever. We don't throw them under the bus. They come up, we make sure it sounds good, sounds right, and if it's something you're interested in, just let me know.
Oh, I'd love to. I mean, I do a rock show on one of our other stations, and one of my co-hosts, Josh Maloney, he's good buddies with Pete, and so
I love Josh.
Oh, you know Josh? Yeah.
Tell the Josh I said hello.
Well, we're all planning on going to the show together Saturday. Him and his lady and me and my lady. We're all going to go hang out and hopefully bump into you guys at some point at the show.
Josh has done this with us, so you and Josh, we're going to make it more than bump into us, right?
Yeah.
If we're able to take care of a couple fans, we'll give them some tickets. We'll pump the show. It's going to be great. And then you and Josh just come up. We'll find a spot at the end of the night when we're going to do a throwdown jam, and just come up and join us.
Absolutely.
We'll make it happen.
That would be badass, man. That would be like dream come true, because going back to the music like you did a second ago, Look What the Cat Dragged In was one of my very first albums, actually cassettes, that I ever bought with my own money, and I wore that bitch out, man.
I love you for that. And the fact that, like me, I need you to know this. I'm going to state a true fact. That everyone laughs when I tell them this story, and then they realize I'm not kidding, right? Our big signing day, when we were an independent band with our own label called Cyanide Music, and then, Poison through Enigma Records, right? It's distribution. Our big signing day, from my hit parader in Circus magazine, said there was all kinds of parties, a jet, this, that, all this stuff. Mine was setting in El Segundo, California, in a warehouse, shrink wrapping cassettes and albums. I can't, with the band, like me and Bobby and Ricky and Cece had a system. I go, you do those, I'll do these, put them up on the fold out card table. I'm not making this up. And I said, guys, and yet I was not bummed out. I was so excited. We had Cat Dragged In, and you may actually have owned one of the ones I shrink wrapped myself.
Well, yeah, I bought it when it first came out, and this might be just a little bit of
you have it. That shrink wrap was all me.
Well, I definitely tore the shrink wrap off and tossed it, so that was long gone. But I know that you'll remember you were up in Sturgis 2015 at the Full Throttle for their 75th anniversary.
I remember.
And I had just launched my podcast called Skid Mark Show that year. And so I called up Jesse James Dupree, who's a friend, and I said, hey, we want to come up and see if we can get some interviews with Harley people and the musicians if it's available. And he goes, absolutely. And so we stayed at the Full Throttle the whole time. And one of the interviews we did Tom Kiefer, and we got you right in front of your tour bus. Was one of our very first interviews on our podcast ever. And I told you right then, I said, Talk Dirty to Me is one of the greatest opening guitar riffs ever, and you blew total smoke up my ass, but I love you for it. You looked me dead in the eye, and you said, well, because of that, we're going to start the show with it. And I was like,
that's it.
You start the show with it. You did. You start the show with it a lot, though, but you made it feel like it was all because of me, and I was like, I know you're lying, but I love you, baby.
It's not a lie. It may have been a little bit of, I may have known we were starting, but I wasn't technically lying. If we break it down, allegedly, I wasn't lying. We did start with it.
I still tell everybody that I interviewed you, you said that, and then you started the show with it, and I don't tell them the rest of it. I just be like, Bret Michaels promised that he did it for me.
Just leave it at that. That's all it's going to be. We're going to drop the mic right there.
There you go. Done. I love it. All right, Party Gras coming up on Saturday. Explain the Party Gras setup for people that didn't make it to the first round, because it's not a 3-band concert. It's a whole thing all to itself.
Yeah, so what it is, it takes on different looks, different variables, different artists. And this one is Night Ranger opens the show. They're incredible. The energy, the songs, they just give 1,000%. Then I come on, we headline, we start out, oddly enough, with Talk Dirty to Me, right? We're going to go right to the throat.
Yep.
And then about halfway through my set, I go, man, I'm just in the mood for a Twisted Sister song. We're in fanfare. I land on the ground. All of a sudden, we're into We're Not Gonna Take It.
Oh.
You know, I want to rock. Then he comes back out, Highway to Hell, Nothing But a Good Time. The guys from Night Ranger come back out. And then you'll be out there with us, you and the Josh.
Oh, man, that sounds so good. And especially for a guy like me who never got to see Twisted Sister live, and they're another, Stay Hungry was one of my favorite albums. The fact that you've got D out on tour, and that's as close as I'll get, but it'll be just like having Twisted out there on stage, that's awesome, man.
You will love him and his energy, and Jack and all the guys, Kelly, everyone in Night Ranger, Brad, you couldn't. We're all friends, right? And that's what makes it great. That's what the Party Gras was. I set the tone. I don't do good when there's a bad energy backstage. You have to have a great energy there to take it out to the fans.
Right.
And everyone, there's no ego. Everyone's out there playing great music, having a great time, and you'll feel that vibe, and you're going to love D, man. He'll be up there doing Nothing But a Good Time and Highway to Hell, and he's just got this, he runs out on that stage and he's on fire. Like you can feel his energy. It's a good time.
That sounds awesome. Now, all right, let's look ahead just a little bit. 2026, 40th anniversary of Look What the Cat Dragged In, and I hear you've got some big plans.
So here's the deal. I go through 25. We're doing a bunch of these big festivals, right? We're doing that one we just announced up in Ocean City called Rock. You know, it's the Boardwalk Rock in the Boardwalk with it's Leopard and Shinedown, Motley, myself. You name Three Doors Down. It's going to be incredible. So I'm doing a bunch of those, and then 2026. Again, Cece and Bobby and Ricky, I'm here because of them, because of us having each other's back in the beginning, through the middle, through right now. And it'll be 4 years since we've toured, since the stadium tour together. And we're just hoping to make this absolutely 40 awesome dates, and just putting every ounce of energy on that stage, and just bringing an absolute party.
Well, for my money, and I was at the Orlando Stadium tour, and I love Motley and I love Def Leppard, but you guys blew them off the stage with your energy. It was a much better show for me, and I was just like, yeah, those guys should have headlined, I think.
Well, first of all, I love you and thank you. And again, as I know we are, respect and friends with Motley, and Vince does a lot of shows with me on the solo dates. And in fact, me, Vince, and Stephen Piercy. So you may see that next summer as well when I see you again. So it's been an incredible, it's myself, Vince Neil, Stephen Piercy, just nothing but hits for the 2025. But again, Poison just goes out there, and I say this, that stadium tour, I was so grateful to be on it. Orlando was incredible, and I just hit that thrust, and I couldn't stop. I told him, I said, I can't stop smiling right now. It's ridiculous. And just went out there, and we play real live music. We don't mess around. We just give it, thrills and frills and good times.
And you absolutely did. And next time you talk to Cece, you got to let him know. I took a video of his solo and his tribute to Eddie, and I put it on Facebook, and it went viral. And like a couple years ago, had over 1 million views just to his solo, and everybody going, Cece is still one of the best guitarists ever.
Kid you not, and I know I get it. Poison's had some good parties, some good times, some highs, lows. That's what you go through as a human being and as a musician. But Cece, and I mean this, and Bobby and Ricky, and I like to put myself in there. We grew up just playing music from just playing real live music, and Cece can play. I mean, that guy can play. He's like Pete Evick, my solo guitar player, Pete Evick, and my good friend as well. These guys can play. Like and CeCe up there, his tribute to Eddie, who was a friend and he loved.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was not only engaging, but it was really sincere. He wasn't doing it just to throw it away. He really meant it.
I could feel it in the crowd. Yeah.
Yep. So,
hey, Bret,
thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no, and thank you for calling in today, man. And I can't wait to see you on Saturday. We will definitely jump up on stage with you guys and have a kick-ass time. A blast talking to you again, brother, and be safe on the way down here. We'll see you in just a couple days, man.
I can't wait. And tell people, follow the journey on BretMichaels.com. I'm in the mangroves now, avoiding the skunk ape, right? Enjoy the journey. I'm coming to you. It's a good